Joining us now on the Picks for Pros podcast, we've got Southeastern University cornerback Joe Bonga in the house. You can check him out on Twitter at Joseph Bonga5. He's going to talk to us about his college experience, prep for the 2025 draft, and why he is a name to know at the cornerback position. Joe, I appreciate you hopping on here. How's it going? Thanks so much for being here today.
What's going on, Usayd? Thanks for having me.
All right, let's just get right into this thing, dude, because, when I was putting this thing together this morning, this list of questions, right, like, your story is definitely unique in the sense that, like, a lot of guys in the world of the transfer portal today, they will be at one school, commit to a college out of high school, and then they will kind of go ahead and spend a year or two there. Things don't work out, and then they end up transferring to another school. But you're unique in the sense that you've played all of your college ball at Southeastern University. So, I got to ask you, why stick around for 5 years at the same school? What made Southeastern such a good fit?
Coming out of high school, I was very under-recruited, kind of flew out under the radar. I had a few team interests in me, D2, D3, but I took that visit to SCU and it felt like home. At the time, I had Coach Petaway and Coach McNutt. He's currently coaches at Tennessee State University. But they really took me under their wing. They told me I'm not a freshman anymore, even though I just got there like a week ago and everything. I found myself like in the rotation and then starting mid-freshman year. And this is really just a home. They took care of me in those things.
That is definitely awesome. Is there, beyond just being, them being really good coaches to you in the football culture there, was there any other reason you stuck around there? Was it because it was like close to home or something? Or is it just the fact that like they kept believing in you and the opportunities kept on coming?
Yeah, definitely it was close to home and, close to family, going through a lot of family issues. It was good to be close to home, come back anytime I wanted really. And, yeah, pretty much that's really it.
That is awesome. I got to ask you this, right? So you're preparing for a major step, getting ready for the draft. You have obviously been playing football for pretty good amount of time now, but what's the daily routine like? How are you going about preparing for the draft? Where are you working out? What's all that stuff like?
Daily routine, I like to start my day with like proper nutrition. If you want to be a pro, you got to pro like a pro. You may like not see like DBs, they run fast. We can eat whatever we want, but to look at the difference between eating clean rice, chicken, greens before you practice compared to like burgers and fries, it really makes a difference. If you want to move like a Bugatti, you got to we gonna put 93 or 87 in your gas tank. On the training side of things, I've been doing a lot of speed, agility over this past few months with Coach TC, Tony Carter, FSU legend, Broncos legend. And so keeping my body loose, stretching is a must. Showing up in that training room, getting ice, baths and stem, full recovery, stuff like that.
That is awesome stuff right there. I gotta ask you, Tony's obviously a guy he's a Florida guy first off from the Jacksonville area, but his path to the league was pretty much undrafted free agent. What advice has he given you about just like, hey, continue to stay kind of motivated and committed to anything and just keep going forward?
Advice from Coach TC, he's saying, if you good, they're gonna find you, right? If you're a baller, they're gonna find you. Really just speed, working on speed and everything, because that's really what NFL scouts are looking for. If you have the proper accolades and like proper times and numbers, you put up good numbers, they're gonna find you.
That definitely makes sense. I got to ask you, right? You play a unique position on the field, being a cornerback. There is a certain mental makeup that you have to, I think, play cornerback that not a lot of people necessarily can understand or relate to. Because, for you as a player, right, as a corner, any football player I think is going to have really good plays that they wish that they had back. But how do you prep yourself to just go from play to play, next play mentality, just keep going even though the previous play may have been really good or really bad?
I believe cornerbacks have to be the most mentally confident players on the field. Linebackers make a mistake, or the safeties will clean it up. D-line misses a gap, that's the linebackers. That's what they're there for. But out there on the island, you take half a step wrong and your mistake is broadcasted for everyone to see. Playing corner, it's all about having that next play mentality, whether the play was good or bad, short-term mentality. If I make a bad play, I'm telling myself, I already know I'm that dude. I'm going to let the receiver know he got 60 minutes of football with me. You can't play cornerback without confidence, and you got to be mentally strong. So that's definitely what I entail. That's what I have.
That definitely makes a lot of sense. What's your play style? Are you more of those guys, one of those guys that's super physical? Or are you one of those guys that relies more on your traits and your athleticism? Or are you just one of those guys that's a total go-getter that's going to find the fine line between traits and athleticism to make you a really good football player?
I like to use both. I like to get physical, and most of the times I like to use my athleticism, but tying both of them in together, I'm not going to just rely on one. I'm using different tools, kind of throw the receiver off their game. So, yeah.
That definitely is going to make a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense to me, right? I think just watching some of your stuff, it's very evident that like you are the type of guy that's going to get out there and be super physical. But I got to ask you, right? So as a cornerback, right, you're sort of like you're 5'10", 180 according to the university website, right? So when it comes to the different cornerback spots on the field, whether it's field corner or boundary corner, do you have a preference between whether or not you're playing field or boundary, or is it just sort of like, hey, this is where I'm most comfortable playing, this is where the coaching staff wants me?
I really don't have a preference. Wherever coaching staff wants me to play, I'm gonna get the job done. You can line me up in slot. You can line me up out on the island. My job is to cover, and that's what I'm gonna do.
So I love that answer, right? But and that also, by the way, feeds into my next question. So throughout your, high school and college days, have you played specifically outside, or were there instances where, coaching staffs kind of use your versatility and it kind of became something of, well, we're going to have you inside in the slot in some plays, we're going to have you outside on the island on some other plays as well?
It all come down to game preparation. Sometimes in high school I play nickel. Sometimes I play safety. Really, it's just the ideal of the offense that we're playing that week. But obviously I excel at corner. Just being able to be out there and say, "Oh, we got a guy. We need you to lock down the whole game. It's gonna get done." So yeah, but
I mean, I got to ask you this as well, right? So, for you as a defensive back, when you step onto the field, right, what do you hope to do every single time? I mean, how do you view playing every single game as an opportunity to showcase a lot of your strengths?
what I expect to do on the field every time I step on the field, I want to shut down the receiver and ultimately get the ball. Like, I'm a ball hawk. That's what I do. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's pretty much it.
So give me an instance where you felt like, because you just used the term ball hawk, right? Give me an instance of a game where you felt like, all right, you were the ball hawk in this game, kind of the catalyst to help your team sort of win.
I say, if it's just one game, I'll say this past year, we played, Weber International University. You know, I didn't really I got tried a good amount, but every time the ball was in the air, I knew it was mine. When it picked it off, they tried me one time. I had a pass deflection. I knew I should have picked it off. And they tried me literally next play. It got picked off. So yeah.
Do you have a certain like celebration that you do when you pick the ball off or you make a big play, or is it just like, all right, cool, I did this, time to move on? Like, I got to know about that.
I don't really have a specific celebration. Whatever come to mind, whatever in the moment. For real. Like, I'll do anything.
Wait, so you're saying that you don't like pre-plan celebrations out or anything with teammates or by yourself? It's kind of just like, I got the interception, I'm gonna go ahead and celebrate in this specific way now.
Yeah, or we just have fun out there. We did have this one little celebration we did, BTA celebration. We go like this, and then we running like this, and I'm like this. Yeah.
That's fun. I've seen that one a handful of times. It's obviously one of the more fun ones to do, but let's just talk some defense real quick. For you being at Southeast for the last couple of years, right, at Southeastern University, I mean, I got to ask you, right? I'm sure you've seen a lot of football, right? When it comes to, and a lot of different defenses as well. Do you prefer to play with, as a cornerback, right? Do you prefer 3-man down or 4-man down in terms of like a 3-4 scheme or a 4-3 scheme?
Honestly, I don't have a preference whether the D line, whatever the D line needs to get done to get to the QB. We got different tools in zone and man to hold up on the back end. So yeah, I really don't have a preference.
So take us through some of those tools. I mean, what's so different about like when you guys play zone coverage versus man coverage? Does the terminology obviously changes, but then how does your role specifically change when it's zone versus when it's man?
When we're in zone, we're constantly in contact with the safety and everything. Playing the zone, we got different coverages. Like we could play, what's it called? We could play palms. We're reading two, looking over here. We could play 3D, and over in man, we have different tools like 2-man, robber, one-eye safety, zero coverage, all-out blitz. So we got all different types of coverages that we use.
So which of those I gotta ask you now, right? Like you mentioned palms, you mentioned cover zero, you mentioned some to read stuff as well, but which of those is essentially your favorite to go ahead and play? If you had to pick like one of those coverages.
I'm a man type of guy. I love playing man. So I'm like, I play press, I get in your face, or play off. It really don't matter. But I like that one-on-one. Just knowing, I'm sure I'm better than you. But yeah.
So, well, what about? What you're saying is that there's like this physical element to the game that you get with playing man coverage that gets you amped up and excited to go out there and make a play every single time.
Yeah. Like, got my safety would be like, "This man have a nice day," and like it just turns switch on. Like, you ever seen like Hulk? They'll be like, "Smash, Hulk smash." Like, have a nice day. I'm going up and I'm playing man. I'm in the face. That's it.
Cool. What's the communication with the safeties like? When you guys are rotating from maybe your 1 high to your 2 high shells, right? When you've got a receiver that is maybe running a deep threat and you identify that on film, he's running like a post route. I mean, how do you communicate with the safety throughout the week to allow you guys to kind of blow up those plays during the game?
Communication is like the most important part about playing DB. When me and the safety communicate, it slows the game down. We're able to pass off routes easier. It's great to build a relationship with your safety, do one-on-one film sessions. Because on the field, it just like you already know what he's about to say. It's like second nature. So passing off routes and stuff like that, it becomes easy once you like communicate, build a relationship.
Do you feel like, or are there instances where you're like, man, I really don't want to pass up on this route and I would rather just go ahead and take this guy like for myself? I mean, when that does happen, how do you go about responding?
About responding, like if I wanted to take a route off myself, ultimately you want to have you just want to have trust in your safety. Like you want to be able to trust them. So if you need to pass that route off, you see another one coming in your zone, another receiver coming in your zone, pass that route off. He's there. And it all comes down to just preparation before the game for real. Like, we talked about this, what he's going to do, and just having that trust in him.
Cool. So let's talk the next steps here, right? So when you have these conversations with these NFL teams, what are they going to be getting out of you as a player, but also as a person?
I'm determined, detail-oriented. As a player, you getting the ball hawk and you getting a player that's going to come day in, day out, give 100% effort. And wherever, I'm like a puzzle piece, wherever you want me to fit on the team, I'll play that position. If you want me to go do kickoff, do that for punt, I'm going to go down and make a tackle, what I can do to help the team. As a corner, I'm here, cover. That's what I do. I cover. So, shutting down receivers, that's mainly it.
What about Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So yeah, that's what you're getting out of me. That's it.
That's awesome. Have you had extensive experience playing special teams throughout high school or college, or is that sort of a realm where you're like prepping yourself to possibly have to play at the next level?
I mean, yeah, I played special team. I played punt, punt return, kickoff, kick return, and yeah, wherever you need me to fit, I'm gonna give 100% effort. That's really it.
So let's talk Chicago. We are a Bears media outlet. This is a Bears podcast. I have to go ahead and ask you in terms of everything, but what specifically do you know about the city of Chicago, and do you know about the Bears franchise? Because it is a franchise where it's like it's known for really good defensive backs.
Yes, sir. City of Chicago, not too familiar with it. Yeah, but as a Bears franchise, I know DBs. I feel like I'd be a great fit in there. DBs show up, show out, day in, day out. But yeah, not really too familiar with the city though.
Have you ever I guess like so I'm guessing then you've never like actually visited Chicago then, but I'm sure it's like one of those things where it's like it'd be cool to come here if you do get, something with the Bears to eventually end up making a career here then.
Yes, sir.
That is, I mean, that's interesting. It's funny because it's like when I do a lot of these interviews, some of the guys are like, "Yep, I've been to Chicago." Sometimes they're going to be like, "Oh no, we've never been to Chicago." Or sometimes it'll be like, "Well, we did go to Chicago, but we were there for like whatever 12 hours for a game." But in terms of the NFL, right? Do you have a favorite player or set of players that you looked up to while growing up? Guys that you try to emulate and model your game after?
Yeah. Obviously, I feel like every DB or every corner might say Jalen Ramsey. I definitely look up to Jalen Ramsey, his physicality, how he plays the game. Just dripping with confidence and everything. I really like model my game after Denzel Ward. One of the smaller, more twitchy corners. You feel me? He's more technical and everything, and just the aspect of his game. I like. Yeah, I feel like I really relate to him.
If you had to pick, one of the two to have dinner with, Jalen Ramsey versus Denzel Ward, I know I'm putting you on the spot here. Who would you go ahead and choose between the two? Would you choose Ramsey to have dinner with or Ward?
Shit. We can go with Denzel Ward.
Why Denzel Ward?
I don't know. I just feel like I relate to him like more as a player. Like I feel like that's like my play style.
So what is your play style, right? Beyond just like being, super physical and stuff and wanting to get up in a receiver's face during man coverage. Like, what's your play style like in the running game?
In the running game, we have like a what's it called a cat technique. So I'll come off the edge and really force everything back inside. I'm not gonna shy away from contact, whether it's a big running back, small running back. I'm getting my nose in the what's called in the trenches a little bit.
Does it allow you to sort of be a tone setter, when you are able to fly off the edge, redirect things back inside, and then see that like one of your teammates is making a play simply because you went ahead and contributed to them making that play?
Definitely sets the tone and gets everybody riled up. You feel me? Just doing that, doing my job. Really, that's it. Making everybody else want to do their job more.
How about during the season? I mean, what is a typical week for you like in terms of, class, film study, workouts, recovery, practice?
Uh, Talking about like game preparation or
Yeah, game prep.
so in game prep. As soon as they drop the film, I'm looking up receivers, tight ends, running backs. I'm looking at what number they wear, what play style they have. Is this like a more speedy, twitchy receiver, or is this like a more physical jump ball receiver? I'm checking their stats and what they like to do. Just get the gist of what I'm going into, going up against. And when we get into the film, I'm looking at their tendencies. Oh, this receiver plays with his gloves before he runs, and he runs like harder routes, whatever. Other than that, running backs. I look at running backs, and then, they're in I formation. They doing go balls, just stuff like that. And I'm learning the go ball. All this stuff in the film room. I feel like it transfers to practice, and then I treat every rep like it's a game rep.
So, have you always played corner, or throughout like high school or maybe even youth football, did you play a different position?
In high school and youth football, I played running back a little bit, so doing that. But as the game gets going, shoot, I'm not that big, so I'm gonna stick with corner. So I played running back, corner. I did a lot. I did a lot of stuff, but ultimately I just stuck with corner. I feel like that's where I belong.
Do you feel like if you had the opportunity to ever have a position change, right, you would go ahead and change it up, or would it just be exclusively like, no, I'm going to play corner no matter what? Like, let's just say they came to you and were like, all right, we're going to start trying you out at like wide receiver or something. Would you be open to that, or would it be like, no, just strictly corner?
Most def. I feel like I could play wide receiver. Most def. Yes, sir.
That is awesome. All right, I got about 1 to 2 more for you here, but what is your favorite football memory, either from high school or college? A moment that, you can give me a couple of them actually, but a couple football memories that you are always going to look back at and always remember no matter what.
Like high school, I'll give a high school memory. It was a regular season game. So we on the 1 yard line, game on the line, and they run the ball to the outside. I stop them on the 1 yard line, crowd going crazy. We won the game and everything like that. So that's definitely a memory that's gonna stick in my head forever. A college memory. It's too many of them. A good college memory. I say pick six. What's it called? They throw the QB throws the ball to the outside. It tips. I think it tips off the running back or something like that, and then tips another wide receiver, and then I catch the ball. I hurdle over a dude, and I'm running down the sideline, and then the quarterback comes to block, try to tackle me. Cut back inside. I'm gone. Touchdown. That's probably my favorite memory.
Do you still have the game ball from that, or did you have to give it back to the university?
I had to give back to the ref. I do have some game balls, but that ball I did have to give back to the ref.
What game balls do you have? Like, what's the significance behind them?
I mean, it's just like every pick I get, I try to take it to the sideline, and just significantly having like a bunch of game balls. Because usually, like what I do with the game ball, I had a game ball. I'll go to sleep with them before a game. So like, I just have the ball in my hand. I'm just like muscle memory. I got a ball in my hand. I'm just like, I'm kind of foreshadowing that into the game. I'm gonna get a pick. You feel me? So that's what I do with my game balls.
That is awesome. Last one from me here, but we've talked a lot about football. How about outside of football? What should people know about who you are, what things you're into? What do you like to do when you're not, in the weight room or on the field or at practice or in film study?
I like to be by the water, really. Beach, pool, all that stuff. I feel like that's where I can relax my mind, just, everything is just cool. And what else? I like to go on runs. I like to play basketball. Just really doing anything or anything that interests me.
Who's your favorite basketball player of all time, I should say, or just favorite in the NBA right now?
I'm gonna say favorite all time. I'm gonna go Kobe. I don't really watch basketball too much. I'm not a basketball dude. I just like to play.
That's similar to me because like I played basketball and football in high school, but like I could not watch the NBA very much now. But okay, so what about Kobe makes him your favorite? Like, I'm curious to know about that.
His mentality and Kobe's mentality. Rest in peace. But Kobe's mentality it's known around the world. Mamba mentality, and so just trying to emulate that into my game. I do that every day. You feel me?
So before we officially close this thing out, I mean, where can people kind of follow you on Twitter, Instagram, in the world of social media and just keep up with your work as you kind of get ready to take a significant step forward in life and in your football journey.
Y'all can follow me on Instagram at j.ojoe and Twitter at josephbonga5.
This has been awesome, Joe. Keep in touch. If there's anything we can ever do for you here at the Bear Report, don't hesitate to reach out and text me. We will definitely have to have you on again at some point in the future. But yeah, thanks so much for hopping on here.
I appreciate you for having me.